Hello, my dear friend, and welcome to History of Sleep, where the stories of the universe become lullabies beneath the night sky. Tonight, we'll drift slowly through a sea of stars, where the Milky Way unfolds its wings of light, cradling the memories of time itself. Have you ever wondered just how vast it truly is? Not as numbers written in an astronomer's book, but as a symphony of light, stardust, and silence, where every star is a heartbeat and every spiral a thought in the dreaming mind of the cosmos. Let me take you there, gently, through the starlit paths and quiet spaces between worlds, to the place where everything began, and perhaps where we will one day return. And if you too feel like a small fragment of this endless sky, then touch the subscribe button softly, as if catching a falling star in your hand. Leave a like a whisper sent back toward the Milky Way, a sign that you're still awake, still listening, and still believe that somewhere in this vast universe, there are gentle things left to dream of. Tonight, I'd like you to look up, not with the eyes that scroll through headlines, but with the quiet eyes of someone who still remembers wonder. Out there, hanging in the black ocean of night, is our oldest friend, the moon, silent, constant, patient. It floats above us like a thought too old to name, watching every civilization rise and fade, listening to the whisper of waves, to the pulse of our tides, to the first fire built by trembling hands. It does not blink, it does not age in our lifetimes. For as long as there have been eyes to see, it has carried the same face, gazing down upon deserts, forests, and glass towers alike. The same face, unchanging. And yet, what is hidden behind that calm expression? We see its bright half turn and fade. We watch it grow full and then vanish. But the truth is, we have never seen its other side. The moon keeps a secret so complete that for most of human history, no one knew it even existed. It shows us one face and hides the other, like a monk turning endlessly in prayer. It has been called many things: the lantern of night, the keeper of tides, the mirror of the soul. But perhaps the most haunting name of all is the silent companion, because it is always there, hovering just far enough to remain untouchable, yet close enough to shape everything we know. The moon pulls on our oceans, tugs at our very blood, for inside each of us the same salt flows that fills the seas. Its gravity cradles the earth like a hand that never tires, slowing our planet's spin, stretching our days a little longer each century. And as it turns, though we cannot see it, it listens to our wars and our love songs, to our fears and our sleep. There is something almost spiritual in that constancy. Every culture, every myth has placed its dreams upon the moon. To some, it was a goddess, Selene, Luna, Chane. To others, a doorway, a bridge between worlds, a reminder that the heavens are not fixed but alive, turning with us, breathing with us. Even the earliest astronomers, scratching lines into clay or papyrus, must have wondered why this silver eye never looked away. Was it watching us? Or reflecting something of ourselves? And in that wondering begins the story you are hearing tonight. A story about motion, disguised as stillness. About how gravity choreographs the most delicate dance, so seamless we mistake it for silence. The moon appears not to spin, but that is an illusion, a trick of celestial harmony. It rotates, yes, but at exactly the same pace that it orbits the Earth. One revolution equals one journey around us. The two motions cancel, and from our vantage point here, it seems forever facing us, like a lover who never looks away. Yet before we wander deeper into the physics, pause with me here, in this opening stillness, because science, when seen slowly, is not cold, it is full of poetry. Each equation is a verse, each orbit a rhythm. The moon's so-called stillness is not absence of movement. It is perfect synchronization, a cosmic meditation. Imagine the patience required, a body born in fire, forged from the debris of a young Earth's collision, now gliding in eternal equilibrium. Its calm is not the calm of sleep, but of balance. When I look at it, I think of how Avi Loeb once described the cosmos, not as a stage for distant forces, but as a conversation. Every star, every planet, every grain of dust is answering the same ancient question. What does it mean to exist together? The moon answers it through this dance of stillness. It reminds us that to appear motionless may in truth be the highest form of motion, where everything unnecessary has already been resolved. Breathe with it. Feel the gravity between you and the light that travels 1.25 seconds to reach your eyes. That photon began its journey from the sun, struck the moon's surface, cold, pitted, silent, and returned here to you. 3 seconds of flight to deliver the faintest message. You are part of this cycle too. Perhaps that is why humans feel an ache when they look at the moon. It is not loneliness, it is recognition. We sense that somewhere within that pale reflection lies our own origin story. The molten scar left from Earth's earliest trauma, when a fragment of our planet was torn free and became this companion. We are literally bound by birth, 2 worlds sharing one heartbeat. So when you next gaze upward, don't just see a distant sphere, see the echo of Earth itself, suspended like memory, keeping watch. See the passing of billions of nights and the quiet endurance of stone and silence. See the witness to every forgotten firelight conversation, every lost civilization, every whispered wish, and let that stillness draw you inward. Because to understand the moon is to understand the illusion of separation. It looks apart from us, but it is not apart. It is the continuation of Earth's story, cast into orbit, forever circling, forever facing home. Tonight, as you drift between wakefulness and sleep, imagine yourself standing in that darkness, the kind of darkness that hums softly, where each heartbeat sounds like a distant pulse of gravity. The moon glows above you, half shadow, half memory. Its light spills down the mountains, over oceans, through the window where you rest. And you realize, stillness in this universe is never still. From here, we will follow that light to see how this illusion of calm was born, how gravity carved it into existence, and how the simplest truth of the cosmos, that everything moves, can create the gentlest lie, that something does not. So breathe slowly and stay with me, because in the silence between rotations lies the first secret of the moon, and perhaps the first secret of ourselves. If we could step back, far back into the quiet before electricity, before cities drowned the heavens in their own light, we would find ourselves standing beneath a sky that felt infinite. There, under that vault of darkness, humanity once looked up and saw mystery not as a puzzle, but as a presence. The moon was our first clock, our first calendar, our first mirror. It marked the passage of time, told farmers when to sow and lovers when to meet. Yet in all those ages of watching, no one saw it move. It was the still one, the unchanging lamp above the mortal world. Babylonian priests wrote its phases into clay tablets, tracking crescents and eclipses with the precision of poets. The Maya carved its cycles into stone, binding their sense of fate to its gentle waxing and waning. The Greeks, gazing from marble courtyards, gave it names: Selene, Artemis, Phoebe, believing that a divine hand guided that steady light. To them, the moon was not a sphere in motion, but an idea, permanence in a world that crumbled and reformed with every season. When cities fell and kings were forgotten, that white eye still opened each night, unchanged. It was proof, they thought, that the heavens were eternal, that somewhere above the turbulence of human life existed a perfect order, cold, serene, untouched. And perhaps they were right in their own way. For in that illusion of stillness lay something the modern mind has almost forgotten: reverence. To look upon something unchanging was to believe in meaning, to feel small but held, as if the universe itself were steady enough to carry our hopes. We, the inheritors of telescopes and algorithms, often forget that once the stars were our only teachers. Those early astronomers did not have equations. They had patience. Night after night, they watched, recorded, waited, and yet no matter how long they stared, the moon refused to turn. There is a kind of beauty in that deception, because the truth, the scientific truth, was there all along, hidden in plain sight. The moon was moving, spinning gently, but in such perfect rhythm with its orbit that the motion became invisible, like a dancer so graceful you forget she's dancing. Imagine trying to explain that to a Babylonian sage or to a Greek philosopher standing beside a smoking oil lamp. This stillness you see is only the illusion of harmony. The moon is turning even now, but its spin matches its path exactly. They might smile and nod, not because they understood, but because they knew deep down that the divine often hides inside such paradoxes. Every civilization has built its myths around this illusion. The Chinese told of Chang, who ascended to the moon and remained forever still, her body unmoving as the earth spun below. The Inuit saw it as a hunter chasing the sun but never catching her, trapped in eternal repetition. The Egyptians carved the ibis-headed Thoth upon temple walls, counting the moon's phases as the heartbeats of time itself. In each of these stories, stillness was never just physical, it was spiritual. To be unmoving was to be eternal, to exist beyond decay. The moon, hovering in the same corner of the sky night after night, became the symbol of what endures. And in that quiet endurance, humanity saw a reflection of its own longing for permanence. But science, like time, does not rest. As centuries passed, the illusion began to unravel. Galileo's crude telescope showed shadows that shifted, craters that moved with perspective. Newton's laws later revealed the secret gears behind the heavens, the invisible ropes of gravity tying everything into motion. And so, slowly, painfully, the old stillness dissolved. Yet part of me wonders, when we lost that illusion, did we also lose something sacred? To know the moon spins, to measure its orbit with cold precision, is a triumph of reason. But to feel that it watches us with eternal calm, that is a triumph of the heart. Science can explain the motion, it cannot replace the awe. And perhaps that's why even now, when we understand the mechanism, we still call it moonlight and not reflected sunlight. We still speak of its glow as something living, something ours. The illusion survives not in astronomy, but in language, in poetry, in the pulse of our collective memory. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that ancient night once more. The smell of burning wood, the hush of desert wind, the soft rhythm of drums in some forgotten ceremony. Above it all, the same silver face gazes down, watching the rise and fall of human breath. The ancients believed it was eternal, and perhaps for them it truly was. Because eternity is not about time, it's about the absence of change in the heart that beholds it. From this ancient illusion, we can draw a deeper lesson. That perception is not falsehood, but the beginning of understanding. The still moon taught us to ask, why does it not move? And in asking that question, humanity took one of its first steps towards science. So as we drift from the world of myth into the world of motion, let us not dismiss the past as ignorance. Let us thank it, for without those centuries of wonder, the modern truth would have no soil to grow in. The moon's calm was a mirror for human faith, its hidden spin, a metaphor for knowledge waiting to awaken. Between the two lies our entire story, the journey from believing to knowing, from dreaming to measuring, from worshiping the sky to walking upon it. And yet the more we know, the more the mystery deepens. For every equation that explains the moon's rotation opens another question about why it matters. Why we, small creatures of dust, feel moved by a rock turning in the dark. Maybe in the end, both the ancients and the scientists are right. The moon does move, and it doesn't. It spins endlessly, yet shows us only one face. It changes, yet appears constant. It is, all at once, the mirror of motion and the memory of stillness. Hold that thought and breathe with it. Let the old voices of Babylon, of Greece, of the high Mayan temples fade into the background. Their eyes looked up at the same light that now falls softly upon your face. Their questions were your questions, their awe, your own. And as the music swells beneath the words, we drift gently forward to discover what truly binds this illusion to reality. The story of gravity's touch, of invisible hands shaping the moon's eternal poise. Because beyond the myths and beyond the stillness lies a deeper rhythm, the one that has guided both gods and galaxies since the beginning. And that, my friend, is where our journey will carry us next. From the stillness of myth, from the gentle illusion of the moon's eternal gaze, another sound begins to rise. Not a shout, not even a whisper, but the quiet pulse of a question. It is the kind of question that does not belong to any one civilization, but to the human spirit itself. It has been carried across sand and ocean, across centuries and tongues, echoing through every culture that ever looked up at the same pale light and wondered, if the moon circles the earth, why do we only see one face? It seems such a simple puzzle, the kind a child might ask while pointing to the sky, and yet within it lies the entire architecture of our curiosity. For behind that innocent observation hides the first shadow of scientific thought, the desire not only to witness, but to understand. The ancients had accepted mystery as comfort. The modern mind could not. Somewhere between temple and telescope, humanity grew restless. The stillness that once symbolized eternity now became a riddle demanding explanation. What invisible law holds that silver companion in place, turning yet not turning, orbiting yet always looking back at us like an eye that never blinks? Imagine a night in ancient Greece, a scholar standing by the sea, tracing the moon's path against the stars. He sees it drift eastward each night, a little farther from where it rose before. He notes the rhythm, the 27 days and a fraction that it takes to return. And yet, as it moves, the same craters and shadows stare back. He marks them, sketches them, and realizes something profound. No matter where it travels, that same face is all it shows. The Maya, high in their jungle observatories, notice the same thing. Their lunar tables carved into stone record not only the moon's phases but its subtle delay, the way it lags behind the stars, faithful to its hidden orbit. To them, this was a sacred dance, a harmony between sky and earth. But harmony, as we would later learn, is born of tension, of gravity pulling and releasing, a choreography written by invisible hands. And so the question deepened. What force could make a world turn so precisely that it never seems to turn at all? In time, this question became more than an observation. It became a mirror reflecting our need to find pattern and meaning in the vast, indifferent night. The moon's motionless face seemed to mock us with its serenity, while every other planet and moon whirled chaotically. Why this one exception? Why this one perfect rhythm between two worlds? For the astronomers of the Renaissance, it was a puzzle that stretched both reason and imagination. Galileo peered through his crude telescope and saw mountains, shadows, craters, the topography of a living sphere, not a divine lamp. But even with proof of its roundness, the illusion of one face endured. He knew it must rotate, but the symmetry was too exact to be coincidence. There had to be something else, a balance of forces, a quiet handshake between Earth and Moon that locked them in step. This idea, that gravity could sculpt motion into stillness, was revolutionary. It whispered that the universe was not chaos, but choreography. Every orbit, every spin, every celestial rhythm was part of a greater order, subtle yet immense. And this, perhaps, is where the story of the moon transcends astronomy and becomes something closer to philosophy. Because the question that lingered in the minds of astronomers, why do we only see one face, is also the question that lingers in every human life. Why do we show only one side of ourselves to the world? Why do we hide the far side, the one no eye can see? In the moon's locked rotation, we glimpse something deeply human. The balance between exposure and concealment, between what we reveal and what we guard. Science would one day call it tidal locking, but long before the term existed, we could already feel its truth. There is a pull, a tether, a gravity between all things that move together for long enough. Just as the moon and Earth have shaped each other, their motions intertwined, their destinies shared, so too are we shaped by what we orbit, by the unseen forces that guide us through the void. That invisible bond, that cosmic empathy, is what keeps the moon's gaze forever upon us. It's as though the universe, in one quiet gesture, designed this companionship so we would never feel entirely alone in the dark. Still, for the early thinkers, the riddle remained half-solved. They could measure the motion, chart the phases, predict the eclipses, but the why eluded them. How could gravity, something intangible, choreograph such perfect synchrony? How could friction, that mundane force of resistance, sculpt eternity from chaos? The great minds of Newton's age would later find the mathematics, the proof that tides and time could indeed bind worlds together. But the beauty of this revelation lies not in the equation, it lies in the wonder that birthed it. For before there was physics, there was awe. Before there was proof, there was a question whispered into the night. Why? That is the real inheritance of this story. The moon's calm, its single unwavering face has taught us to ask better questions, to peer beneath illusion, to recognize that stillness is often the result of exquisite motion. And as we drift through space ourselves, carried by forces we barely understand, perhaps we too are part of some larger balance, a harmony so vast it seems still from where we stand. The question lingers still. Even now, with satellites mapping every crater, with instruments tracing the moon's path to a millimeter, something about its gaze unsettles and soothes us in equal measure. Because knowledge does not cancel mystery, it only moves it one layer deeper. So let us linger here, as the ancients did, in that liminal space between knowing and not knowing, where science becomes reverence and silence becomes meaning. Take a breath. Feel the pull, the same invisible tide that tugs at the oceans and at your heartbeat. That is gravity's whisper, the quiet voice that binds worlds, the music beneath the question. And as we follow that whisper into the next chapter, We will find the answer not in equations, but in motion, in the way the Earth and Moon turn together, locked in an ancient dance that has lasted billions of years. A dance where neither leads, neither follows, only harmony remains. So here we are, standing at the edge of the question that haunted the ancient world. The illusion has finally been pierced. The moon, that patient companion, is not still at all. It turns slowly, gracefully, once every 27.3 days. And in that same span of time, it circles the Earth once, completing a perfect round. 2 motions, 1 rhythm. A celestial duet so precise that we never see the spin, only its harmony. The moon's rotation and revolution have merged into a single act, a single breath of movement, repeated across billions of years. And because they are synchronized, one face always turns toward us, and the other remains forever hidden, a private half of a familiar friend. This is tidal locking, the quiet choreography of gravity. It is the way the cosmos teaches balance, not through stillness, but through surrender. When we last left our story, we were surrounded by questions, the kind that linger in the space between science and soul. Now, we step closer to the answer. And what we find is not cold mechanics, but an act of cosmic intimacy. For tidal locking is not a command, it is a relationship, a long, patient negotiation between 2 worlds. In its earliest age, the moon spun fast, wild, unrestrained, a fragment of the Earth flung into orbit by ancient violence. Its days were short then, its axis restless. But the Earth, larger and heavier, began to pull on it, to whisper through gravity, "Slow down." And the moon listened. As it turned, Earth's gravitational tug raised subtle bulges on its surface, tiny distortions of stone and dust. Each bulge was drawn slightly toward Earth, each turn resisted by that pull. A dance began, a dance of friction and time. Bit by bit, rotation slowed. Each century, an imperceptible fraction of a heartbeat lost. Until one day, millions of years ago, the rhythm locked. 1 spin equaled 1 orbit. The 2 became 1. From then on, the moon's far side was hidden, and its near side, illuminated by sunlight, was ours forever. It was as though the moon had turned to face the Earth and never looked away again. There's a strange tenderness in that image. Imagine 2 dancers moving through eternity, hands clasped by invisible strings, never separating, never quite touching. Each bound by the other's gravity, their steps matching so perfectly that neither can escape. That is tidal locking. That is the silent embrace of Earth and Moon. But if we listen deeper, there's more here than mechanics. There's meaning. Because in this symmetry, this quiet equality of motion, we glimpse a truth about relationships, about all things that orbit one another. To move together for long enough is to begin sharing rhythm, to find stillness in another's pull. The moon no longer spins alone, it turns in time with us. We call it locked, but perhaps it is also liberated, from chaos, from loneliness, from the endless struggle of unbound motion. Our ancestors saw stillness. We see motion and call it gravity. But the truth lies somewhere between, an eternal balancing act where energy becomes harmony. The moon did not stop, it learned to listen, and the Earth in turn responds. Even now, the tides rise and fall under the moon's command, and in that exchange, both worlds change. Our days grow longer by a fraction of a second each century. The moon drifts a little farther away. The dance continues, slow, almost imperceptible, but real. To know this is to feel the heartbeat of the cosmos. Every orbit, every rotation, every galaxy turning in the dark is part of this same choreography. Nothing truly stands still. Everything is listening to something else. We live inside a vast and ancient music, its tempo so slow that only silence can reveal it. So as you breathe now, imagine that rhythm extending outward, from your pulse to the tides to the rotation of the moon, all connected, all turning in time. This is not just astronomy, it is meditation written in gravity. When we call it the Loch dance, it is not a metaphor. It is literal motion becoming poetry. The moon, earth, and sun perform their endless waltz, each bound by forces unseen yet felt everywhere. You too are part of that dance. Your body feels its tug each night as you sleep, your cells carrying traces of lunar tides. Every drop of blood in your veins responds faintly to the pull of that same gravitational whisper. And perhaps this is why watching the moon calms us. It reminds some deep part of the brain, the ancient oceanic part, that order still exists, that somewhere beyond the noise of daily life, two worlds are still keeping perfect time. Now picture it again. The moon above, one face always turned, the other hidden, a balance so complete it appears as stillness. And yet beneath that calm exterior, everything moves. Mountains rise and fall under tidal stress, the crust flexes, molten currents shift deep within. Even silence is full of motion when seen from the right perspective. If you could stand on the far side, the side we never see, you would find it marked and ancient, scarred by time, shielded from Earth's gaze. That unseen hemisphere is a reminder. Every harmony hides tension. Every calm surface conceals invisible strain, but together they create beauty. Just as the light and shadow of the moon shape its phases, so too does the tension between motion and stillness shape the dance itself. This is the paradox at the heart of the universe. Everything that endures must move. Everything that moves seeks balance. And so the moon turns, and so do we. We often think of gravity as a chain, as something that binds and restricts. But listen closer, and you will hear that it is also love, written in the language of physics. Love that doesn't rush or demand, but simply pulls, gently, endlessly, until two bodies find their shared rhythm. The moon and earth are not prisoners of each other. They are partners in an ancient pact. Each keeps the other steady, each shapes the other's destiny. This is the cosmic lesson of the Loch dance, that connection is not confinement, and stillness is not the absence of motion. It is the art of moving together. If you close your eyes now, you can almost feel that motion, the slow spin beneath your feet, the whisper of the moon circling overhead, the soft tide of breath in your chest. They are all the same rhythm. You are part of the choreography. You have always been. And so we leave this chapter not with answers, but with understanding. The moon's face does not change because it has learned to move in perfect accord. It does not resist, it flows. It does not command, it listens. And perhaps that is why we find peace in looking at it. For in its quiet revolution, we recognize something of our own longing, to be still without stopping, to move without losing balance, to orbit something larger than ourselves and yet remain whole. Stay with me as we drift onward, into the deeper mechanics of this cosmic embrace, into the story of how gravity's touch shaped not only the moon but the earth itself. The dance, as we've seen, is perfect now. Each turn matched, each orbit mirrored. But perfection in the universe is never born that way. It is carved. It is earned through struggle, through friction, through the patient shaping hand of time. To understand how the moon came to be locked in this eternal waltz, we must return far back to when it was young and restless. There was a time, billions of years ago, when our moon spun fast, almost defiant. It was fresh from violets, born from the molten debris of Earth's own body, a scar of creation flung into orbit. Its surface glowed red with heat, and its days passed in furious rotation, spinning once every few hours under the newborn sun. But even then, even in that chaos, Earth had already reached for it. Gravity, that invisible hand, began to pull. Not roughly, but with an ancient patience, the way the ocean pulls on the shore, again and again, until rock becomes sand. The Earth's gravity tugged on the moon's shape, stretching it slightly, molding it. Like a potter pressing fingers into clay, that pull raised gentle bulges on the moon's surface. But because the moon was spinning so quickly, those bulges were never quite aligned with the Earth's center. And that tiny misalignment changed everything. Each time the moon turned, Earth's gravity grabbed at those bulges, pulling back, resisting the spin. A subtle tension built, the universe's smallest tug-of-war. That tension became friction within the moon's interior, deep under its crust. And friction, in the language of physics, is how motion learns to rest. Bit by bit, the energy of the moon's spin began to dissipate, radiating outward as faint heat, lost to the cold of space. The moon slowed, its once rapid spin stretching into longer and longer days, and the Earth, in response, felt a faint push in return, because every action, even a cosmic one, carries its echo. The moon's slowing rotation caused Earth's own spin to waver, its days lengthening by fractions of a second over eons. It is still happening now. What began as chaos became choreography. The same gravity that once tore the moon from Earth's side now bound them in rhythm. They were no longer two wild bodies spinning apart. They were partners learning to listen. This is gravity's grip, not a force of domination, but of shaping. Not a prison, but a sculptor. Gravity does not seize, it teaches. It pulls not to confine, but to create harmony where there was disorder. If you listen closely, beyond the mathematics, beyond the diagrams, you can hear it. The sound of gravity is not thunder, but breathing. It is the quiet exchange of energy between bodies, the slow equalizing of motion into balance. In this way, the universe builds peace. Not instantly, not gently, but inevitably. Imagine the moon in those ancient days, trembling as invisible tides worked through its molten core. The crust flexed, cracked, healed again, a billion-year yoga of rock and fire, bending toward stillness. Over time, the bulges froze into permanence, locked forever in place, always pointing toward Earth. The moon had found its equilibrium, its surrender. And from that surrender came beauty. The side that faces us, illuminated each night, bears the smoother seas, the Maria, vast plains of cooled lava where impacts once boiled the surface. The far side, hidden, remained thicker, heavier, rougher, the scarred testament of its struggle. Both sides tell the same story, but from different hearts of the same being, one shaped by touch, the other by resistance. Gravity's grip is not unique to the moon. It shapes everything, from the spinning of galaxies to the tides of blood that move through your veins. Every atom in your body, every drop of ocean, feels it. You are part of this pull, born of it, sustained by it. When you walk by the shore and watch the tide retreat, know that it is the moon's distant whisper calling the water home. When you feel the stillness of the night, know that stillness is the residue of motion slowed by love, the same love that bound earth and moon together in their eternal embrace. There is a lesson here, hidden in physics but shining in poetry. To resist is to heat, to yield is to balance. The moon yielded, and in yielding, found peace. The earth, too, adjusts, slowing its own spin ever so slightly, as if bowing in gratitude for the partnership. And we, tiny observers standing on this turning world, are witnesses to that peace. When you look up at the moon tonight, you are seeing the result of 1 billion years of surrender. It does not resist the pull, it moves with it. It does not fight to spin freely, it finds freedom in rhythm. That is gravity's grip. Firm but forgiving, mathematical yet merciful. In every human story, there is a reflection of this same cosmic truth. Every love, every friendship, every family is its own kind of orbit. A push and pull of energy seeking balance. Friction creates warmth, alignment creates harmony. And sometimes the greatest act of strength is to slow down, to listen, to match the rhythm of another. That, too, is tidal locking of the soul. As the universe expands outward, its gravity knits together galaxies, stars, and planets in vast invisible threads. Without it, everything would drift apart, lost in silence. But because of it, motion has meaning and time has rhythm. It is the first music ever written, the soundless pulse that keeps eternity in tune. So when you hear the words gravity's grip, don't imagine chains or captivity. Imagine hands holding gently, guiding two dancers through the endless waltz of time. One larger, one smaller, each moving the other, each shaping the other's steps. The moon's once fierce spin now glides in perfect unison, not because it was forced, but because it was taught, patiently, gravitationally, lovingly. This is the wisdom of the cosmos. What seems like restraint may actually be harmony. What feels like loss of freedom may be the beginning of peace. For the moon, gravity's grip was not the end of motion, but the discovery of its purpose. And in that discovery, something extraordinary happened. The chaos of youth became the balance of eternity. The violence of creation became the grace of orbit. The restless spin became the calm face we know. Even now, billions of years later, that balance continues to evolve. The moon drifts slowly away, a few centimeters each year, as though gravity itself were exhaling, easing the tension but never breaking the bond. And in that slow separation, there's tenderness, not loss. Because once two bodies have shared such rhythm, distance cannot erase their connection. As we drift forward into the next part of our journey, hold on to this thought. Every stillness you see in the sky is born from motion. Every peace is shaped by pressure. And every balance, even the moon's, is the result of forces pulling, yielding, and finding harmony in between. The moon did not escape gravity. It became its masterpiece. The music softens into a heartbeat rhythm, like distant waves under starlight. Stay with me now as we continue to trace this quiet creation. The moon now turns in perfect rhythm. Its spin and its orbit are one, a slow, patient rotation so exact that from where we stand it appears not to move at all. And yet it moves constantly. Every grain of dust upon its surface travels through space in an arc so elegant, so unbroken, that we can barely comprehend it. This is one of the universe's most beautiful illusions. Perfect stillness born from perfect motion. It is a balance so complete that motion itself disappears, like the hush between two heartbeats, or the silence that lingers after a final note of music. We often think of movement as noise, as chaos, as change, but in the great architecture of the cosmos, the highest form of motion is harmony. Two opposing forces aligned so seamlessly that they cancel each other's urgency, leaving behind only grace. The moon's calm face is not the absence of energy. It is the refinement of it. It is the result of eons of adjustment, of pull and release, of resistance slowly turning into cooperation. And that, in essence, is the story of all creation. the journey from struggle to balance. When we left our last chapter, gravity's hand was still sculpting this balance, molding a restless moon into a partner that could move with, not against, the Earth. Now, in this chapter, we witness the completion of that lesson. The struggle ends, the dance becomes a meditation. Imagine standing on the surface of the moon now. The Earth hangs unmoving in your sky, enormous, blue, luminous. It never rises, never sets. It simply watches, forever suspended over the same horizon. Yet around you, stars drift, shadows crawl across the dust. The sun arcs overhead in a slow, silent procession. From there, the illusion reverses. To the moon, it is the Earth that turns. And perhaps that's the greater truth. Stillness and motion are never absolute. They depend only on where you stand. Perspective in the universe is everything. The moon's stillness is the Earth's motion. The Earth's stability is the sun's orbit. And the sun itself, racing through the Milky Way, is part of a dance so vast that to us it looks like rest. So what then is stillness? It is not a pause in the cosmic music. It is a chord sustained so perfectly that we forget it is made of vibration. It is the moment when movement becomes meaning. There's a quiet poetry in the idea that we are fooled by perfection. We look up night after night and think the moon does not change. But within every moment of that apparent calm, invisible forces are still at play. Tidal stress, temperature shifts, micrometeor impacts, the delicate exchange of energy between Earth and moon. Even silence, when you listen closely, has a pulse. The moon's apparent immobility is like the surface of a pond on a windless night, a mirror so smooth that the sky forgets where it ends and the water begins. But beneath that mirror, currents move. The illusion of stillness is never emptiness. It is fullness, so perfectly contained that motion becomes serenity. This is why perhaps the moon fascinates us so deeply. It embodies something we seek within ourselves, that delicate equilibrium between chaos and peace. We live our lives spinning, orbiting, reacting to unseen forces, gravity, time, memory, love. And yet we yearn to appear calm, to find the rhythm where all those invisible pulls resolve into something gentle. The moon shows us that this is possible. To be still, truly still, does not mean to stop moving. It means to move in perfect balance, to find the pace at which your orbit, your spin, your life, all align. Science gives this a name: synchronous rotation. But what a cold phrase for such a warm truth. The physicist sees equations, angular momentum, torque. The poet sees devotion, a celestial body that has turned its face toward its partner and kept it there for billions of years. Both are correct. When Avi Loeb writes about the universe, he often reminds us that science is not merely the study of what is, but a conversation with what could be. In the moon's stillness, we can read both science and story. We see equations at work, but we also see relationship, loyalty, patience. The moon's hidden motion mirrors the quiet labor of understanding itself. The way humanity has spent centuries revolving around the truth, turning it slowly, finding alignment between what we observe and what we feel. Perhaps that is why the moon's light feels different from sunlight. It is reflected, yes, but it is also softened, tempered by distance and time, by its quiet journey through space. Moonlight is sunlight made wise. It has seen motion and learned stillness. It has felt the violence of creation and chosen grace. Think of that the next time you look up. The light that touches your face left the sun 8 minutes ago, struck the moon a second and a half away, and now returns to you. The same light that once shone upon the first oceans, the first forests, the first human eyes to wonder at the sky. In that light is memory. The memory of motion slowed into calm, of chaos transformed into order. And so, when we gaze at the moon, we are not seeing something distant. We are seeing the story of every living thing that has learned to balance its own gravity. The same forces that carved its stillness are working in us, in our hearts that beat, our minds that orbit thoughts, our bodies that spin around dreams. We too are tidally locked to something, to the planet that raised us, to the time that carries us forward, to the invisible hand that keeps us turning even when we long to rest. Perfect stillness is not an illusion of the moon alone, it is the condition of the cosmos itself. Galaxies spin at unimaginable speeds, yet from afar they appear frozen. Spirals suspended in silence. Atoms vibrate ceaselessly, yet their union creates the illusion of solidity. Even the smallest pause between heartbeats is filled with the electricity of life. Everywhere we look, motion masquerades as peace. The deeper truth, then, is this: the universe does not stop, it learns to flow. And the art of existence, whether for a planet, a moon, or a mind, is to move so gracefully that the movement disappears. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the moon's path around Earth, a glowing circle against the black sea of space. Now imagine the Earth turning in its own rhythm, and the sun beyond, pulling both along its vast spiral through the galaxy. Everything moves. Everything is part of something larger. And yet, from here, it all feels still. That is the miracle of perspective, the meditation written into the laws of physics. Stillness is not the end of motion. It is its highest form. As we drift onward in our journey through the story of the moon, hold this thought like a prayer, that the calmest things you know, the night sky, the ocean at dawn, the pause before a breath, are not truly calm at all. They are full of hidden motion, full of balance and invisible rhythm. The moon reminds us that peace is not the absence of energy, but its mastery. That serenity is not an escape from gravity, but an understanding of it. And that in learning to move in harmony with the forces that shape us, we too can find our perfect stillness, our hidden motion. Stay with me now as we step behind that calm face to glimpse the side we never see, the rugged, unlit world forever turned away. For even in perfect harmony, there remains mystery. Though we call it tidal locking, nothing in the universe is ever truly locked. Even within perfect balance, there is always a tremor, subtle, rhythmic, alive. The moon, beneath its calm expression, carries a faint, almost imperceptible motion, a slow breathing written into its orbit. Astronomers call it libration, a gentle wobble, a quiet dance that lets us glimpse a little more of the hidden world beyond. Because of it, we see not half, but about 59% of the lunar surface. It is as if the moon were whispering, "Here I am, but not entirely. Look closer, I am still moving." If you were to watch carefully over many nights, you would notice that its edges shift ever so slightly. The familiar features leaning forward and back, tilting north, then south. The moon nods to us like a slow heartbeat, a movement so small that only patience can perceive it. This wobble is the universe reminding us that even stillness has a pulse. Libration exists because nothing in nature is perfectly aligned. The moon's path around Earth is not a perfect circle but an ellipse, its axis tilted, its speed uneven. As it travels, its orbit stretches and contracts, drawing subtle arcs through space. These irregularities make it lean, then recover, as though carried by invisible tides of geometry. Imperfection in this sense is generosity. Without those small asymmetries, without those flaws, we would never see beyond the same unchanging face. The moon's slight hesitation gives us a gift, the ability to peek around its edges, to see mountains and valleys that would otherwise remain hidden forever. That extra 9% of revelation exists only because of error, because of deviation, because of the universe's refusal to be flawless. Perfection would have been sterile. The wobble makes it human. Think of it, we owe our broader vision to imbalance. It is the same with every part of existence. The moments when life slips out of rhythm, when plans shift, when tides pull too hard, those are often the moments that let us see more clearly, that open a window we never knew was there. The moon's wobble is a celestial mirror of that truth. Across billions of years, Earth's gravity continues its gentle tug, never letting go, never completely restraining. That pull causes the moon's interior to stretch, its crust to flex, a slow, silent conversation between two ancient bodies. The wobble is their language, their subtle nod across the void. It says, "We are still connected. We are still listening." When the Apollo astronauts stood on the lunar surface and looked back at Earth suspended in the black, they saw the meaning of that motion. They realized that the moon is not dead rock. It is an instrument tuned to the harmony of gravity. The libration we observe from afar is the visible trace of that music, a slow rhythm written in dust and time. Step back even farther, and you see that the wobble belongs not only to the moon. Every world wobbles. Planets tremble in the embrace of their suns. Stars expand and contract in cycles of breath that last millennia. Even the fabric of space itself ripples with gravitational waves, the faintest sighs of motion through the architecture of time. Nothing in the cosmos is truly still. Each silence is the echo of countless movements balanced so precisely that they cancel into beauty. There is a quiet lesson hidden here. We seek calm as though it means the end of motion. But real calm, like the moon's, is movement so steady that it feels eternal. To be at peace is not to stop turning. It is to turn in harmony with everything else. To find serenity is to accept the wobble, to let it show us the unseen corners of ourselves. The moon, forever tilting, teaches us that stillness is never absolute. Its wobble is not a flaw but a form of grace, the gentle sway of an old companion who refuses to stand rigid before the universe. It rocks softly in its orbit, listening to Earth's pull, answering with the faintest nod. Through that motion we glimpse something essential. Tranquility is not the absence of change but the art of balanced movement. The moon wobbles, and because it does, we see a little more of its secret world. And, perhaps, a little more of our own. For in the end, every piece we find carries within it a heartbeat. The moon is not truly still. It only appears so because every movement within it is perfectly matched. Its rotation and its orbit are two halves of a single gesture, turning together in harmony so complete that the tension disappears. What we mistake for stillness is, in truth, the most exquisite form of balance, a choreography so precise that motion itself becomes invisible. In that balance lies a quiet kind of wisdom. The moon does not resist gravity, nor does it surrender to chaos. It moves exactly as much as it must, no more, no less. It is the embodiment of what ancient philosophers once called the middle way, the line between too fast and too slow, too much and too little. When we look up and see that unmoving face, we are witnessing not stasis, but equilibrium perfected. Stillness, then, is not the opposite of motion. It is motion refined. Every second, the moon glides through space at nearly 1 kilometer per second, spinning gently on its axis, its gravitational tides tugging faintly at our oceans and our bones. Yet from our perspective, it seems as calm as meditation. We look up and see serenity, unaware that this serenity is built upon constant negotiation, the push and pull, the give and take that keep two worlds in harmony. This is what the universe teaches through the moon, that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the mastery of rhythm. Even chaos, when understood deeply enough, becomes music. The same gravity that once tore the moon from the earth now holds the two in a state of mutual grace. What began as collision has matured into balance. What was once fire has become reflection. Imagine, for a moment, that you could stand upon the lunar surface, gazing at the distant blue marble of Earth. It hangs there, unblinking, never rising nor setting, a single fixed point in a sky full of stars that drift endlessly. That sight alone can change your understanding of motion. The still Earth is not truly still. It spins, it orbits, dances through space, just as you do. But from your place upon the moon, you see it balanced, suspended, like a memory perfectly preserved. Perspective transforms motion into calm. We often seek stillness in our own lives, as though it were something separate from movement, something achieved by retreat or control. But the moon reminds us that stillness can be found only through participation, through the acceptance of the very motions we wish to quiet. Balance is not a pause, it is the point where movement finds agreement with itself. Every relationship, every thought, every breath is a version of this cosmic alignment. We move through our days orbiting countless gravities: work, love, memory, hope. Each exerts its pull. Each tries to claim us. But when we learn to move in harmony with them, to let our inner rotation match our outer world, we begin to resemble the moon, turning always, yet appearing serene. There is an elegance in such balance that science alone cannot quantify. To synchronize with the universe, to find the stillness hidden within momentum, is to remember our place within the great pattern of existence. The moon does not fight against its orbit. It dances with it, finding eternity not by standing apart, but by moving together. The poet might call that grace. The physicist might call it dynamic equilibrium. But both are describing the same truth, that stability is never static, it is alive. It requires awareness, adaptation, humility. The moon does not command its perfection. It listens to the rhythm of the cosmos and aligns itself accordingly. And perhaps that is what we too are meant to do, to listen for the gravity that guides us, to find the speed at which our own hearts move in harmony with the world. For if the moon can turn through endless night and never lose its composure, then maybe stillness is not a place we reach, but a way we move. To be balanced, like the moon, is to live in relationship to oneself, to others, to the unseen pull of existence itself. It is to stand at the center of motion and discover peace, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening in perfect time. The moon, endlessly circling yet never adrift, shows us the art of that balance. It is the same art the universe practices in every orbit, every atom, every heartbeat. A reminder that stillness, when seen through the right eyes, is simply movement so graceful it becomes eternal. Long before human eyes first looked upward and wondered, the moon had already been marked, its face written upon by time, by gravity, by the quiet touch of its larger companion. Every crater, every ridge, every patch of frozen basalt on that pale world carries an echo of its origin story. And like all old relationships, the bond between Earth and Moon has left traces. One warm, one cold, one soft, one scarred. Scientists believe the difference between the two faces of the Moon was born in those earliest molten days. The near side, forever turned toward Earth, was kept warmer by our planet's radiant heat. Its crust cooled slowly, remaining thinner, softer, easier for lava to rise through when meteors struck. Over time, great seas of basalt spread across its surface, dark plains we now call Maria. They look smooth from here, but each one is the memory of an impact so violent it melted stone. The far side, forever facing away, was left in cold shadow. It cooled quickly, its crust thick and unyielding. Fewer lava seas could form there, so it remained mountainous, jagged, ancient. And as meteors rained down over billions of years, that hemisphere took the scars without healing. Its surface still bears the wounds of creation, sharp and proud, untouched by the gentle smoothing of molten floods. It is as though the Earth, in its warmth and gravity, shaped the near side in its own image, tender, reflective, calm, while leaving the far side raw, untamed, true to its birth. The two halves together make one complete story, one sculpted by touch, the other by distance. From this we learn that even in the heavens, relationships change what they touch. The moon is not only what it was born to be, it is what time and proximity made of it. Its face has been molded by Earth's light, Earth's heat, and the steady gravitational hand that never lets go. If the moon is a mirror, then what it reflects is not merely sunlight, but the silent memory of our planet's influence, the fingerprint of its oldest friendship. And in that friendship lies a truth about all creation. Nothing exists in isolation. Every object, every being, every thought becomes what it is through its connection to something else. The moon's face is the record of that connection. It wears Earth's warmth like a faded signature, a reminder that to orbit is also to be changed. When you look at the moon through a telescope, you can trace this difference easily. On one side, wide gray plains stretch smooth across the face like calm seas beneath eternal night. On the other, the terrain breaks apart, peaks rise, valleys plunge, shadows sharpen. It is not symmetry that defines beauty here, but contrast. Light needs darkness to mean anything. Warmth needs cold to define it. Even the moon needs both faces to tell its story. Perhaps that is why, when the first images of the far side arrived in 1959 from the Soviet probe Luna 3, humanity felt a shock deeper than scientific discovery. We were looking, for the first time, at the unseen half of a companion we thought we knew. And what we saw was both alien and familiar. A reminder that closeness can breed illusion. That love can make us believe we've seen the whole when in truth we've only glimpsed a part. There's something profoundly human in that realization. We too show our near side to the world, the smoother, warmer, better lit version of ourselves. Our far side, colder and rougher, remains hidden. But like the moon, both sides are necessary. Without the unseen half, the orbit collapses. Without the dark, the light has nothing to rise from. The difference between the moon's two faces is more than geology. It is metaphor made stone. It reminds us that history leaves asymmetry behind, that time sculpts even the heavens unevenly. The forces that warmed one side and froze the other are the same forces that keep them bound, forever turning together. And perhaps this is what balance really looks like. Not perfect symmetry, but the harmony of opposites held in motion. Imagine those early ages again, the young Earth glowing with magma seas, the young Moon, a molten scar newly born from impact. They circled each other closer then, separated by a distance that would have made tides rise 100 times higher than they do today. Each revolution was a conversation of gravity and heat, of energy traded and absorbed. In that conversation, the Earth gave more than it took: warmth, pull, rhythm, guidance. And in return, the Moon offered reflection. It stabilized Earth's tilt, tamed our seasons, gave shape to our tides. They have been co-authors of each other's histories ever since. Over billions of years, the marks of that intimacy froze into their surfaces. The far side's crust thickened like cooled emotion. The near side's plains softened like forgiveness. Even the act of seeing the Moon tonight is a kind of time travel, a glimpse of an ongoing dialogue between two worlds that began before life, before oceans, before memory. Scientists can measure it now. They can model the distribution of density within the lunar crust, trace its thermal history, calculate the gravitational asymmetry that locked it into place. But even within those numbers, there is poetry. For every measurement is a love letter written in the language of mass and heat, evidence that the universe remembers every touch. The Earth left its fingerprint on the Moon, not only in gravity, but in identity. And perhaps, in a quiet way, the Moon did the same to us. Its pull still shapes our tides, our sleep, our imagination. We mark our calendars by its phases. We write our myths around its light. Somewhere in our collective memory we know we have never truly been apart. So when we say that the far side is colder, thicker, older, we are not just describing a geological fact. We are describing the nature of relationships themselves. The side that receives warmth changes more quickly, becomes softer, more open. The side that remains in shadow keeps its structure longer, but it grows heavy with silence. Together, they form a whole. The light and the dark, the known and the unknown, the self and the other. Every night, as the Moon rises, we are looking at history's echo, the physical memory of two worlds learning to coexist. The marks on its surface are not random scars. They are evidence of endurance, of dialogue, of balance. They tell us that even the smallest imperfection can reveal beauty, and that every relationship, no matter how ancient, leaves its imprint on the world it touches. Perhaps that is why we are drawn to it still. Because when we look at the Moon, we do not only see rock and dust. We see the echo of our own beginnings, the warmth of our planet written on another world, the reminder that connection is creation. The Moon bears our fingerprint, and we, in turn, carry its reflection. Forever bound in the memory of that first light, still circling, still shaping one another, long after the fires of birth have gone cold. It's almost impossible to notice, a movement so small it hides within silence. And yet, it's happening right now, in this very moment. The Moon is leaving us. Not in rebellion, not in haste, but in a slow, dignified retreat. Each year, it drifts away from the Earth by roughly 3.8 centimeters, the width of a fingernail, eve the length of a breath. Imperceptible, gentle, inevitable. Like two dancers who have been together too long to need words, they are still moving to the same music, but the space between them is widening. We know this because of the mirrors, small, silent panels placed on the Moon's surface by the Apollo astronauts decades ago. From observatories on Earth, scientists fire beams of laser light at those mirrors. The light travels nearly 400,000 kilometers, strikes the reflector, and returns to us after 2.5 seconds. From that echo of light, we can measure the changing distance with exquisite precision. And the data tells a story that is both tender and melancholy. The Earth and Moon are still dancing, but the steps are growing slower, the pull between them a little softer with each passing century. It seems counterintuitive that gravity, the very force that bound them together, is also the reason they are slowly parting. But that is the paradox of all lasting relationships. Connection brings change. Each tide that rises and falls across our oceans transfers a tiny bit of energy from Earth's rotation to the Moon's orbit. The tides act like invisible hands, pushing the Moon outward as the Earth's own spin gradually slows. Our days lengthen, our nights grow slightly wider. The world turns more slowly, and the Moon drifts gently away. Forever connected, forever apart. This is not tragedy. It is evolution written in the language of physics. The same forces that once brought the Moon close now teach it distance. The same gravity that carved harmony now teaches release. And there is beauty in that letting go. Think about it. In the time since the dinosaurs walked beneath the same sky, the Moon has moved tens of thousands of kilometers farther out. Its presence in our sky would have once loomed larger, brighter, a vast silver coin hanging low and heavy above primeval seas. Its pull on the tides would have been fierce, its reflection almost overwhelming. Now it watches from a gentler distance, as though the universe itself has learned restraint. With each centimeter of drift, the Earth's rotation loses a breath of its old speed. Our days lengthen by fractions of a second, imperceptible to us, but measurable across epochs. There will come a time, eons from now, when a day will last more than 1,000 hours, when the Earth will turn so slowly that one side will bask in endless light while the other sleeps in eternal dusk. By then, the Moon will have receded so far that it will seem only a faint pearl in the vastness of space. And yet it will still be ours, our reflection, our witness, our companion at the edge of memory. In this gradual drifting, there is a strange kind of tenderness, a recognition that even separation can be sacred when it arises from balance. The Moon is not fleeing. It is simply following the law of harmony, redistributing the energy of its connection with the Earth until both find peace in new rhythms. It is not a breakup. It is a deep exhale. When you look at the Moon tonight, you are seeing it as it was a moment ago, a memory of light already on its way to you. But you are also looking at a future that is unfolding in silence. Each night's rise is infinitesimally different, its path in the sky adjusted by the slow, deliberate stretching of space between us. The very moonlight that bathes your face has traveled a slightly greater distance than it did for your ancestors. Every beam of light carries the story of that distance, the story of a bond that endures not through permanence, but through adaptation. There's something profoundly human about this cosmic drift. We too change through the quiet exchange of energy, through relationships that shape us, through moments that pull and release, through years that stretch the space between who we were and who we've become. We, like the Earth and Moon, learn to keep orbit even as distance grows. Maybe this is what true companionship means in the universe's eyes. Not holding on too tightly, but moving in rhythm long enough that even distance becomes a form of connection. In the vastness of time, the Moon's slow departure is not a loss, but a continuation. An act of grace so subtle we can only feel it in metaphor. It is the universe's way of reminding us that even parting can be peaceful, that even as we drift, we remain bound by the gravity of memory. So let it drift. Let it go where it must, inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter. For every small distance gained, there is a new kind of beauty born. A new balance found between light and dark, motion and silence, presence and absence. The moon is leaving us, yes, but not out of abandonment. It is simply completing the circle of its journey, teaching us, as it always has, that love and gravity are the same thing seen from two sides. One pulls us close, the other lets us go. Imagine for a moment that the balance breaks, that the silent dance we have known for billions of years, the synchronized turning of Earth and Moon, suddenly falters. What if the lock that binds them were to loosen? What if the moon, freed from its ancient rhythm, began to spin once more on its own? It is a thought experiment, a question of science wrapped in the poetry of possibility. Yet in that single "what if" lies the fragile truth of our world. How deeply everything we know depends on harmony we take for granted. If the moon began to rotate freely, the tides would change their voice first. They would no longer follow the steady pattern of rise and fall, but surge with unpredictable power. The oceans, once guided by the moon's gentle pull, would begin to move out of sync, waves rising higher, currents shifting, entire coastlines reshaped by new rhythms of water and wind. The great tidal plains where life first emerged would fall silent, their cycles of renewal disrupted. Migrating creatures that rely on the moon's timing, turtles, crabs, corals, fish, would lose the clock that has guided them for eons. And with the tides unmoored, our own climate might begin to unravel. Because the oceans are not just water, they are the heartbeat of the planet. The moon's grip keeps that heartbeat steady. Its pull stirs the seas, mixing warm and cold, feeding the currents that carry oxygen and nutrients across the globe. If that grip were to vanish, the rhythm of life itself would change. The deep waters would stagnate. The air would shift, the sky might grow strange, even time, as we feel it, would begin to bend. Our days, no longer subtly stretched by the moon's gravity, might shorten again. The rotation of Earth would quicken by fractions of a second, but the consequences would echo far beyond the clock. The balance between light and dark, between motion and rest, would take on a different shape. To the naked eye, the moon would no longer show one familiar face. It would turn, slowly, deliberately, revealing its hidden hemisphere, the rugged terrain that no generation of humanity has ever watched move. The scars of its far side would rotate into view, and the smooth maria of its near side would drift away. Night after night, the moon would no longer be the silent sentinel we know, but a restless, shifting presence, a reminder that nothing in the universe stays fixed forever. And yet, even in that chaos, there would be beauty. For every new motion births a new kind of order. The moon would continue to orbit, but with its own free spin, its days and nights chasing each other endlessly. New patterns of light would sweep across its surface, casting strange shadows on the planes we once thought eternal. Perhaps that is what the cosmos is always teaching us. That even the most perfect balance is temporary, and that every system, no matter how ancient, carries within it the potential for change. Stillness is never absolute. Harmony is never permanent. They are both living states, sustained only as long as motion agrees to remain in step. We like to think of the moon as eternal, a constant that steadies the human heart. But if the lock were ever to break, we would learn how fragile constancy really is. The tides of the sea would mirror the tides within us, rising without warning, retreating without pattern. Our sleep, our circadian rhythms, even our moods, all tuned to the cycles of light and gravity, would begin to drift. Civilization itself would feel the change. For as long as we have measured time, we have measured it by the moon. Calendars, harvests, rituals, stories, all are anchored in its steady return. A free spinning moon would turn that certainty into motion once again. The nights would lengthen and shorten irregularly, the tides no longer matching the months, the sky refusing to repeat itself. Perhaps we would adapt as we always have. We would find new rhythms, new ways to chart the sky, new meanings in the changing light. But deep within us, something would ache for the silence we lost, for that calm, unwavering gaze that once looked down upon the oceans and the cities alike. Because in truth, the locked moon is more than a celestial mechanism. It is the heartbeat of the Earth's memory. It is the quiet metronome that has kept our planet's song in time. Without it, the melody might continue, but it would no longer be the same tune. So let us be grateful for the lock that holds, for the invisible rhythm that keeps our world steady, for the balance that allows life to bloom in peace. And let us remember that even balance requires energy, that harmony is not a gift given once, but a conversation maintained across billions of years. If the lock ever broke, it would not mean the end, only another transformation in the universe's endless experiment with motion. But until that day, we live within a rare and precious equilibrium, one that turns so gently, so quietly, that we mistake its perfection for stillness. And perhaps that, too, is the lesson hidden in the moon's serene face, that what looks like permanence is simply balance, and that every balance, no matter how long it lasts, is a fragile, beautiful act of grace. Nature abhors chaos. Even if the balance were broken, gravity would find a way to restore the rhythm, because motion in the universe always seeks music. This is the quiet law beneath all creation, that every disturbance, every drift, every collision is only temporary. The cosmos is not a still painting, but a self-correcting melody. Its notes may scatter, its tempo may falter, but in time, the rhythm always returns. If the moon were ever to break free, to spin and whirl in rebellion, gravity would not let it wander for long. Invisible threads would pull it back, slowing it once more, teaching it again the patient step of its ancient dance. And eventually, a new lock would form, a new equilibrium, a new partnership between Earth and Moon. Different, perhaps, but harmonious still. This is not speculation. It is the nature of all systems that endure. Stars collapse into rhythm after chaos. Planets settle into orbit after violence. Even galaxies, with their spiraling arms of fire and dust, move as though guided by a single heartbeat too vast for us to hear. The universe is not random. It breathes. Each beat is an exchange of energy. Each pulse, a conversation between gravity and motion. Every turning world, every shining star, every atom in your body is part of that rhythm. A resonance that began at the first light of creation and has never truly stopped. When physicists speak of orbits and frequencies, of oscillations and waves, they are describing what ancient poets once called the music of the spheres. A symphony without sound, a harmony played in space-time itself. In that sense, the moon and Earth are musicians. Their dance, a duet that keeps the larger rhythm of the solar system in time. Without them, our planet would wobble too wildly, our axis too uncertain, our seasons too cruel. The moon's steady pull softens the edges of chaos, keeping the song of Earth gentle enough for life to continue. This eternal rhythm extends beyond our skies. The tides rise and fall, the continents breathe, the forests inhale carbon and exhale oxygen. Our own hearts beat in quiet imitation. The pulse of a human being is not separate from the pulse of the cosmos, It is an echo of it. We are the rhythm made conscious. And perhaps that is why we find peace in repetition, in the circling of the moon, in the turning of days, in the seasons that return like remembered songs. Deep within us, some ancient part recognizes that order. We are soothed by what the universe has always known. That movement is safest when it carries rhythm. That chaos, when understood, becomes cadence. Even decay follows the pattern. A dying star does not end in silence, but in resonance. Its collapse ripples through space-time as a gravitational wave, a heartbeat strong enough to be heard across galaxies. And after the explosion, new stars are born from the ashes. The tempo continues, the melody shifts, but the music never stops. The moon, too, is part of that continuity. Its orbit lengthens, its spin slows, yet the pattern remains true. The distance grows, but the dance goes on. A waltz stretched across eternity, so slow we cannot hear it, so constant we cannot imagine existence without it. If you stand under the night sky and close your eyes, you can almost feel it. The faint hum beneath everything. The vibration that threads through your bones, the sense that the stars above you are not still but alive in their turning. Each heartbeat, each breath, each revolution of the moon is the same gesture expressed in different scales of time. That is why silence in the cosmos is never empty. It is full of rhythm too vast to detect, a music that carries the memory of the Big Bang, a tempo that began with the birth of light and will continue long after the last star fades. And we, tiny as we are part of that endless time signature. Our lives, our loves, our histories rise and fall like tides. Our mistakes become friction, our forgiveness, gravity. Through it all, the universe keeps the beat. So when we speak of the eternal rhythm, we are not invoking poetry alone. We are describing a truth of physics and of being, that everything that moves, moves together, and that even when balance breaks, the song begins again. Perhaps that is what the ancients sensed when they watched the moon trace its quiet circle in the sky. They heard without knowing the pulse of the universe in motion, steady, patient, forgiving. And perhaps that is what we feel, even now, when we watch the tide roll in or the night unfold. That somewhere beneath the noise of our lives, a rhythm still holds. Not the rhythm of clocks or calendars, but of existence itself. The rhythm that connects the turning of galaxies to the turning of the human heart. The rhythm that never began and will never end. The moon is not truly still. It only seems that way because every force acting upon it is perfectly balanced. Its rotation and its orbit, two separate motions, move together so flawlessly that they cancel each other's urgency. Each turn of its body matches one revolution around the earth. A harmony so complete that motion disappears into grace. We call that stillness, but it is not stillness at all. It is balance, the rarest kind, where motion has learned to listen to itself. For billions of years, the moon has turned like a great wheel in slow meditation, its rhythm so gentle, so precise, that to our eyes it seems eternal. Yet beneath that calm facade, every atom of it is moving, spinning, orbiting, stretching slightly under Earth's gravity, adjusting, yielding, perfecting. It is not resisting the pull, nor surrendering to it. It is dancing with it. And that is the essence of harmony. Balance, in its truest form, is not the absence of struggle. It is the conversation between opposing forces that have finally learned to coexist. The moon and the earth are two voices in the same song. One deep and slow, one bright and gentle. And their melody has kept our world stable, our tides rhythmic, our nights luminous. If you think about it, this balance is what allows life to exist at all. Without the moon's steadying hand, Earth's axis would wobble wildly, seasons would shift in chaos, climate would falter. But because of this silent partner, our world breathes in rhythm. The moon's balance is the planet's peace. And yet, what we call equilibrium is not static. It requires constant adjustment. Tiny imperfections, gravitational tugs from the sun, the drag of tides, the drift of distance, all press against the system, and the system responds, flexes, corrects. Balance is work. It is motion refined into patience. It is energy softened into understanding. It is the universe's way of saying, I will not fight you, I will move with you. In the human world, we often imagine peace as an end, a place we reach once the noise has stopped, once the motion has ceased. But the moon shows us a deeper truth. Peace is not the opposite of movement. Peace is movement, done with precision, with awareness, with grace. Like the moon, we are all pulled by invisible gravities, by desire, by duty, by love, by loss. We orbit our own centers, trying to stay upright as forces tug from every direction. To live well is not to escape those pulls, but to find the rhythm where they balance. The moon found that rhythm long ago. It moves endlessly, but never drifts. It changes phase, but never its face. Its calm is not the calm of stillness, but of alignment. It has mastered the art of being moved, without being undone. If you could stand upon the lunar surface, you would feel this balance beneath your feet. The Earth would hang above the horizon, not rising, not setting, a blue and white lantern suspended forever in the same place. Around you, stars would drift in their slow eternal arcs, and the sun would crawl across the sky in cycles longer than any day. Everything would be in motion, yet nothing would seem to change. That is balance. That is what stillness looks like to the universe. Scientists call this synchronization. Philosophers call it harmony. But to the soul, it feels like belonging. It reminds us that we too are capable of moving without losing ourselves, of changing without chaos, of spinning through time without falling out of orbit. To be in balance is to live as the moon does, in quiet conversation with gravity, in gentle awareness of motion, in trust that every force pulling you one way is matched by another, drawing you home. And when those forces align, the world feels still, not because it has stopped, but because everything is moving together. The moon, endlessly circling yet never adrift, is the universe's simplest lesson and its greatest mystery. It shows us that perfection is not found in the absence of motion, but in its harmony. That is why we look at it and feel calm, even if we don't know why. Somewhere deep within, our hearts recognize the pattern, the same rhythm that keeps planets spinning, seas breathing, and life continuing. The moon does not stand still. It simply moves so beautifully that motion itself disappears. And in that disappearance, we see what the ancients once called divine, the moment when the universe stops fighting with itself and simply begins to flow. When we look up at the moon, we are not only seeing an ancient world, we are seeing a reflection of ourselves. Its surface, etched by time, mirrors the texture of our own history. Its light, borrowed from the sun, resembles our own glow, not born from within, but reflected, refined, made softer by experience. The moon, in all its quiet dignity, is a reminder that we too are shaped by forces we cannot see, pulled by gravities we do not fully understand, and yet somehow we remain in orbit, balanced between motion and stillness, chaos and calm. We are not so different from it. Like the moon, we carry scars on one side and light on the other. One half of us faces the world, composed, illuminated, serene. The other half hides in shadow, private, wounded, endlessly forming itself. But both halves are necessary, and both belong to the same whole. The moon has taught us that perfection is not symmetry, but coexistence, the ability to hold light and darkness in the same body and still turn gracefully through space. We too revolve through unseen orbits, around each other, around our dreams, around our memories. Invisible forces bind us: love, fear, gravity of the heart. Each of us is pulled by something, and each of us, in return, exerts our own pull. We shape the lives around us just as the earth shapes the moon, raising tides we cannot see, leaving traces we may never know. And maybe that is the quiet miracle of existence. That in being shaped, we also shape. That in being held, we also hold. When the moon first drew the oceans toward it, it could not have known that those tides would one day give rise to life. That from the waters it stirred would come creatures capable of gazing back at it, wondering, dreaming, building mirrors of their own. We are those mirrors. We are the continuation of that same conversation that began billions of years ago between stone, water, and light. Each night when its glow spills across the world, the moon does what the universe itself has always done. It reflects, not just illumination, but awareness. It reminds us to pause, to listen to the rhythm that still beats beneath the noise of our lives. Because beneath our busyness, beneath our spinning minds, there is that same search for balance, the same desire to find peace within motion, meaning within the infinite. We chase goals, we fight gravity in our own ways, we fall, we rise, and sometimes we forget that the point was never to stop moving, but to move beautifully. The moon's orbit is not a prison, it is grace in motion. It doesn't fight the forces that bind it, it learns to flow with them. It finds its peace not in resisting, but in belonging. Perhaps that is why its light feels so human. It doesn't burn like the sun, it soothes. It doesn't demand to be seen, it invites. It has known darkness intimately, and that is why its light feels like understanding. We see ourselves in that soft glow, in our longing for calm, in our quiet strength, in the resilience that allows us to shine through borrowed light. The moon has no fire of its own, and yet, when we see it, we feel warmth. So it is with us. Our radiance does not come from dominance, but from reflection, from the way we take what the universe gives and turn it into meaning. If you stand alone beneath the night sky and let that light touch your face, you are participating in an ancient ritual, one that connects every being who has ever looked upward and felt both small and infinite at once. That feeling is not humility, it is recognition. You are seeing yourself in the mirror of the cosmos and realizing that your motion, your struggle, your search for peace are all part of the same celestial rhythm that moves the moon. Even our smallest acts, a word of kindness, a moment of patience, a silent thought, are like tides responding to gravity. We move the world in ways we cannot measure, and the world moves us in return. The dance never stops, it only deepens. So when you look up at the moon tonight, see more than light upon stone. See the memory of your own becoming. See the reflection of your inner orbit, the balance between what you show and what you keep hidden, the longing to be still while everything turns. The moon is not apart from us. It is our echo, a silent witness to our shared motion through time. It reminds us that peace does not mean immobility, it means harmony with the inevitable. And as we continue to spin through the dark, seeking understanding, we can take comfort in knowing that somewhere above, our oldest mirror still turns, steady, gentle, and patient, reflecting not just sunlight but the quiet truth of who we are. The story ends where it began, in silence. The kind of silence that isn't empty but full of motion so perfectly balanced that it no longer needs to make a sound. Above us, the moon continues its journey, sliding through the dark like a memory that never fades, tracing its patient circle around the Earth, as it has for billions of years. Its orbit, so steady, so quiet, is the final line in the poem of our sky. We often think of silence as stillness, as the absence of noise, of movement, of change. But the truth, whispered by the moon itself, is that stillness is not the end of motion. It is its perfection. Every force acting on the moon, every pull of gravity, every fraction of light from the sun, every subtle breath of cosmic dust, works together in agreement. Nothing fights, nothing resists, everything flows in rhythm. And in that rhythm, there is peace. Perhaps that is the secret the moon has been keeping all along. That harmony, not stillness, is the true form of rest. That peace does not come when motion stops, but when it finally aligns with purpose. Look up, and you will see it. That silent traveler carving its path through eternity, never too close, never too far. It moves, yet it stays. It changes, yet it endures. It turns endlessly but never loses its way. The moon's quiet orbit is a mirror of every life that has ever tried to find balance. We too circle around the things we love, our homes, our memories, our dreams. We spin through seasons, we drift through time, we learn, we forget, we return. And though our paths may seem chaotic, they too form patterns, a quiet geometry written in invisible lines. Every relationship, every day that rises and falls is another orbit, each one teaching us how to move without breaking, how to surrender without falling, how to find peace in motion. The moon shows us that you do not need to escape the forces that shape you. You only need to move with them. It does not struggle against gravity. It listens to it. It does not seek freedom by leaving its path. It finds freedom in its path. In knowing that to circle something beautiful, to stay in rhythm with what sustains you, is not captivity but belonging. Perhaps stillness isn't the absence of motion. The voice inside us murmurs, but the perfect harmony of it. And that is how the story ends, not with a final word, but with a quiet understanding. That peace is not something we reach by standing still, but by finding the right speed, the right distance, the right rhythm for our lives. The moon has found its rhythm, so has the Earth. And somewhere within their silent orbit, we too are learning to move in time, to breathe with the tides, to live in balance, to let the turning world carry us gently forward. Because perhaps in this whirling, infinite cosmos, tranquility is not about stopping. It is about alignment, about finding the place where motion becomes music and music becomes silence. The moon keeps moving, so do we. And in that motion, soft, endless, and serene, we find what we've been searching for all along. A quiet orbit of our own,